So Team USA is down to 13 players after De'Aaron Fox withdrew a couple hours ago and PJ Tucker withdrew yesterday. And assuming there's no more big withdrawals, I think it's safe to finally talk about this team, because this is what I was kind of waiting for. So, as far as who's the last guy to get cut, I don't know. Maybe it's Mason Plumlee, maybe it's Derek White, maybe it's Marcus Smart. I heard he's got like an injury, whatever the hell, I don't know. But, looking at this team, I think this team is going to be relying a lot on Kemba and Donovan Mitchell to create, right? Because there's a whole lot of dudes here where you don't love the idea of them running the offense. Between Kuzma, Tatum, Harrison Barnes, Jaylen Brown, Chris Middleton, like these are guys who can play, make shots, play off of dudes, but it's just not the same as Kemba and Mitchell doing the majority of stuff, right? Now, before I even get into talking about the players more, should acknowledge Popovich as the coach. That makes me feel good for obvious reasons. He's just going to know what to do in whatever situation pops up, whether it's a defensive adjustment, a substitution, yelling at guys when he has to. He's Pop. I mean, if you told me that there was a better coach in this tournament than Popovich, I would be pretty damn surprised by that one, so that's cool. Now, with that being said, because of Fox now being gone, this team needs all the ball handling they can get, so perhaps that means Derek White now has a place on this team, and maybe he could get a few minutes a game as a backup guard. Marcus will be dribbling some. I think Tatum will have the ball in his hands a little bit more now, and I do think Tatum is a bit of an X factor for this team, where if he just doesn't take those pull-up mid-rangers, or if he does but makes them, then that could be the make-it-or-break-it thing for this team. Because, I think even in a setting like this one, you do still need three dudes, 2 or 3, I guess, who can create their own shot, but also make contested shots. And I think Tatum's number 3 on that pecking order behind Mitchell and Walker. I'm not going to act like I know everything about the other teams in this tournament. I know Jokic is on Serbia. I know Giannis is on Greece. I know Spain always has really good chemistry. The roster itself doesn't jump out at you. I mean, there are some NBA players. We got Willie Hernan-Gomez, we got Marc Gasol, Rubio, Rudy Fernandez was in the league for a bit. So they've got players, and I'm sure that they will give Team USA a tough game. I know USA just beat them in like a game that didn't count or whatever. I know that Gobert is on France, and the French starting 5 is interesting. It's probably Gobert, Batum, Fournier, and then I don't really know after that, but I mean, there's a chance that Gobert himself could just lock up this USA roster, so there's that. I'm expecting this team to be challenged, and it's not just going to be against the teams you might expect. Like, there's going to be at least 1 or 2 games in there against a team where they should beat them, where that team is just going to make them uncomfortable with physical defense, and they're going to make timely shots, and they're going to control the boards, because there's not a single great rebounder on this US team. And they're just going to make it tough on them. And then, in those moments, it's going to be like, okay, who's the guy who's going to step up? My guess is it's Kemba Walker, simply because he's the best player on the team, with Donovan Mitchell being number 2. But it's also going to be interesting to see like how did Tatum and Kuzma react to those situations, because I feel like both of those two, I feel like their mindset is we need to score to help the team win, right? But are those two, like, say if the lineup in the end of a game, which I have no idea what it's going to be, but let's say it's Tatum, Kuzma at the forward spots, Mitchell, Kemba, Brook Lopez, Miles Turner, I don't know who. Like, are Kuzma and Tatum going to be content with just, like, playing hard on defense, grabbing rebounds, and taking open shots? And then if they decide to be a little more aggressive, are they going to pick the right time to do that? I don't really know. So that's all going to be really interesting stuff. Now, there are some dudes where I'm pretty confident they're going to have that mindset. Middleton, Marcus Smart, Joe Harris, Derek White, Miles Turner. I think Jaylen could end up being really important to these guys, even if he doesn't take that many shots. Just defense, attacking the boards, playing in transition, that type of thing. Granted, one of these guys is going to get cut. We don't know who yet. But that's all just going to be really interesting. Another one, I think Harrison Barnes is a bit of an X factor. Number one, because I feel like he's kind of essential now that PJ Tucker is out, because his team really doesn't have another big wing who can defend other big wings like that. I mean, I guess your other guess would be like Jaylen Brown, because Jaylen doesn't have to devote as much energy to offense as like Mitchell can. I mean, Mitchell, very good defender, but they're going to need his offense. So I think Barnes they kind of need, and he's already weird because the dude shot a lot in Dallas, and to be fair, I think he figured out his place on the Kings pretty early on, and he didn't take as many shots and all that, but I'm not 100% confident that Harrison Barnes is like totally cool with taking, let's say he takes like 6 shots a game in this tournament. I don't know if he's going to love doing that. That's why it killed me so much when PJ Tucker left, because I feel like no matter how talented your roster is, you need those kind of guys. I mean, the one I always think of course, my favorite player, Iguodala's place on the Redeem team, right? And I just don't know who's going to be that guy for this team. There are definitely candidates between Barnes, Middleton, Marcus Smart, whoever, but I just want to see who's actually going to become that guy. As far as other random things, I think the Brook Lopez or Miles Turner or Mason Plumlee conversation is interesting. Again, none of these three are great rebounders, so if there's any international team that just wants to attack the boards, this team can definitely be attacked there. Although to be nice, like Brook Lopez, he can box out pretty good. But, you know, there's no Drummond or Dwight or, hell, there's not even a Kenneth Faried, if we remember the Olympics he had. I mean, Kevin Love was also effective with his rebounding on the Redeem team, so this team just doesn't really have that guy. But, and that's also big because international play, you can hit the ball back in, like once it leaves the cylinder or whatever it is. I don't remember the exact rule, but it's different than the NBA's. But anyway, I would probably start Brook Lopez over Miles Turner. You can argue that Turner's a better player. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Certainly he's a better defender than Brook Lopez, but I think Brook can be good enough defensively against international teams. I also don't think Brook Lopez is that bad of a defender in general, really. Sure, he's nowhere close to the top of the NBA in defensive bigs, but I think he's far from the bottom as well. So, there's that. And offensively, I think the hope with putting Lopez at center is that he just, you know, partly because of the spacing he'll provide and also because he can attack in the post, that he could kind of be the thing that takes this team's offense over the top. Because while I do think they're going to be challenged a few times, I also think there's going to be times where they just destroy a team by 40 points. And maybe it's like Brook Lopez is a part of that because he just makes the spacing too crazy, or he hits like 5 threes, or he just keeps getting switches onto somebody and he can post them up. Like, I just don't think Miles Turner can do those things. Now, if there's some team that's really athletic and's got a really good pick and roll attack, then Turner can get in there. Then you're going to have to deal with Miles Turner being a little hesitant on offense, but I do like the contrast of Brook Lopez and Miles Turner for this team. Mason Plumlee, I guess he's like the best rebounder on the team. I don't know if he's actually going to make the team, but he could be a bit of an X factor where maybe some team just has Lopez and Turner figured out. Then maybe you can be like, okay, Plumlee, just go in there and just be big because we don't know what else to do right now. The other thing is, could this team go small? I don't really know. Who would be their option as a small ball center? Like, I guess it's Harrison Barnes? I don't know. Maybe there's some center on another team where you're just like, you know what, Barnes, you might be able to deal with that guy. So we're just going to go 5 out and probably murder whoever at that point. So, yeah. I do want to make more videos on Team USA. And I guess I could just do stuff to react to different games and whatever. predicting a starting five, I'll go Kemba, Mitchell, Lopez at center. The 2 forward spots are very interesting because I just don't know. I feel like you kind of have to go Harrison Barnes at power forward for the sake of fit. And then that 3 spot's interesting because you could go with Tatum, who I think is, has the highest offensive ceiling, can create his own shot, all that. Middleton would probably be another good fit guy. Jalen is kind of in that boat, but I feel like Middleton, better shooter, probably deserves it. I'll acknowledge Kyle Kuzma's existence, but I don't think he should be the starting small forward. So I guess where I come to with the starting 5 is Kemba, Mitchell, Middleton, Barnes, Lopez, and then I guess you just kind of adjust accordingly. I also want to see what Marcus Smart does for this team, because the idea of Marcus Smart on an international stage just excites the hell out of me. Like, I want to see that dude. I want to see him lock up some 6'9", 240-pound dude from Europe who gets buckets, So I guess just call back to what I said earlier. Maybe Marcus is the guy who defends the big fours. I don't know. It'll be fun. It'll be interesting. And yeah.